The big spaceship of the Galactic Empire slowly came down from the sky. It was shiny and looked very important. Everyone on Earth was looking up at it. People in New York, London, and Tokyo stopped what they were doing to watch. This was a big day for Earth. The Galactic Empire was coming to visit. The ship landed in a big field near the United Nations building in New York. Lots of important people were there to meet the aliens. The President of the United States, the Secretary General of the UN, and leaders from many countries stood waiting. They all looked nervous but excited. The door of the spaceship opened with a hiss. A ramp came down. Everyone held their breath. Then the alien ambassadors walked out. They looked almost like humans, but their skin was blue and they had big black eyes. They wore fancy clothes that sparkled in the sunlight. The leader of the aliens smiled and started to walk down the ramp. But then something strange happened. A man in a black suit stepped forward. He held up his hand to stop the aliens. "I'm sorry," the man said in a loud voice, "but you cannot enter Earth. We have a new law. No aliens are allowed on our planet." Everyone was shocked. The alien ambassador's smile disappeared. He looked confused and then angry. "What do you mean?" the alien asked. "We came here to talk about Earth joining the Galactic Empire. We have traveled very far." The man in the black suit didn't smile. He just repeated, "I'm sorry, but the law is clear. Earth has banned all aliens. You must leave now." The other aliens started talking to each other. They sounded upset. The human leaders looked confused too. Nobody knew what was happening. The alien ambassador tried again. "There must be some mistake," he said. "We are the Galactic Empire. We rule over thousands of planets. You can't just tell us to leave." But the man in the black suit didn't change his mind. "This is not a mistake," he said. "Earth has made its decision. We do not want to join your empire. We do not want any aliens on our planet. Please go back to your ship and leave." Now the alien ambassador was really angry. His blue face turned a dark purple color. "You will regret this," he shouted. "The emperor will hear about this insult." The human leaders started to look worried. Some of them tried to talk to the man in the black suit. They whispered and pointed at the aliens. But the man just shook his head. The alien ambassador turned around and walked back into his ship. The other aliens followed him. The door closed with a loud bang. For a few minutes, nothing happened. Then, with a loud roar, the engines of the spaceship started. Slowly, the big ship lifted off the ground. It went up and up, getting smaller and smaller, until it was just a tiny dot in the sky. Then it was gone. As soon as the ship left, everyone started talking at once. Reporters ran to their cameras to tell the world what had happened. The human leaders all gathered around the man in the black suit, asking questions. "Why did we do this?" One leader asked. "What will the Galactic Empire do now?" Another one said. But the man in the black suit just said, "Everything will be explained soon. For now, know that this was necessary to protect Earth." All around the world, people were confused and scared. Why had Earth banned aliens? What would happen next? Some people were happy, thinking Earth was being brave. Others were worried that the Galactic Empire would be angry. As night fell, the news was full of stories about what had happened. Everyone had an opinion, but nobody knew the real reason for the new law. The governments of Earth were keeping a big secret. And that secret was about to change everything, not just for Earth, but for the whole galaxy. Far away in space, on a planet called Zexar, was the big palace of the Galactic Empire. It was huge and shiny, with tall towers that reached up to the sky. Inside, there was a lot of noise and activity. The Emperor, a tall alien with purple skin and 4 arms, sat on his golden throne. He looked very angry. Around him, many other aliens were running around, looking worried and confused. "What do you mean?" Earth said no. The Emperor shouted. His voice was so loud that everyone stopped moving. The blue alien ambassador who had gone to Earth stepped forward. He was shaking a little. "It's true, Your Highness," he said. "They have a new law. No aliens are allowed on their planet. They told us to leave right away." The Emperor's face turned a darker shade of purple. He stood up from his throne. "In all the history of our great empire," he said, "no planet has ever dared to ban us. Who do these humans think they are?" One of the Emperor's advisors, a small green alien with big ears, spoke up. "Your Highness," he said, "maybe we should try to understand why Earth did this. It's a very strange thing to do." The Emperor nodded. "Yes," he said. "Bring me all the information we have about Earth. I want to know everything about this planet and its people." Soon, the big room was full of aliens looking at screens and reading reports. They were all trying to find out more about Earth. "Earth is a small planet," one alien said, "but it has many different countries and languages. The humans have only had space travel for a short time." Another alien added, "But they have advanced very quickly." The Emperor listened to all this information, but he was still confused. "None of this explains why they would ban us," he said. "There must be something we're missing." Just then, a tall, thin alien with silver skin ran into the room. "Your Highness," he shouted, "I found something interesting about Earth's history." Everyone turned to look at the silver alien. "What is it?" the Emperor asked. The alien held up a screen. "According to this," he said, "Earth has been invaded by aliens many times in their stories and movies. They often show aliens as bad guys who want to take over their planet." The room was quiet for a moment. Then the Emperor laughed. "Is that all?" he said. "They're afraid of us because of their imagination." But the small green advisor didn't laugh. "Your Highness," he said, "maybe this is more serious than we think. What if the humans know something we don't?" The Emperor stopped laughing. He thought for a moment. "You might be right," he said. "We need to find out more." "But how?" Another advisor stepped forward. This one looked like a big rock with eyes. "We could send spies to Earth," he said. "They could pretend to be humans and find out what's really going on." The Emperor liked this idea. "Yes," he said. "Prepare our best spies. They will go to Earth and learn the truth." But then the blue ambassador who had been to Earth spoke again. "Your Highness," he said, "there's one more thing. When we left Earth, I saw something strange. It looked like the humans have a new kind of technology, something we've never seen before." The Emperor's eyes got very big. "New technology," he said. "What kind of technology?" The ambassador shook his head. "I'm not sure," he said, "but it made our ship's computers act weird for a moment. It was like they were changing the way space itself worked." Now everyone in the room looked scared. The Emperor sat back down on his throne. He was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "This is more serious than we thought," he said. "Earth is hiding something big, something that could change everything. We need to find out what it is." He stood up again. "Prepare a small fleet," he ordered. "We will go to Earth ourselves. It's time to show these humans who really rules the galaxy." As the aliens hurried to follow the Emperor's orders, no one noticed a small dark shape hiding in the corner of the room. It was watching everything and listening carefully. Then, quietly, it slipped away. Earth's secret agent had a very important message to send home. Back on Earth, things were very busy. Everyone was talking about the new law that said no aliens could come to Earth. Some people thought it was a good idea. Others were angry about it. In a small lab in New York, a young scientist named Dr. Sarah Chen was working late. She had long black hair and wore big glasses. Sarah was looking at some strange data on her computer. "This doesn't make sense," she said to herself. She had been studying the stars, but something was different now. It was like the space around Earth had changed somehow. Just then, her phone rang. It was her friend, Major Tom Harris. Tom used to be in the Army, but now he worked for the government. "Sarah, are you watching the news?" Tom asked. He sounded worried. Sarah turned on the TV in her lab. There were big crowds of people in the streets. Some were happy about the new law. They held signs that said Earth for humans. Other people were angry. Their signs said, "We want to meet aliens." "It's crazy out there," Sarah said. "Tom, do you know why the government made this new law?" Tom was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I think they're hiding something, Sarah. Something big." Sarah looked back at her computer. "I think you're right," she said. "I've been seeing some strange things in my data. It's like someone's changing how space works around Earth." Tom gasped. "That's it," he said. "That must be why they don't want aliens here. We need to find out more." Sarah nodded. "Meet me at the old cafe in an hour," she said. "We need to talk about this in person." An hour later, Sarah and Tom sat in a quiet corner of an old cafe. They spoke in low voices so no one could hear them. "I have a friend in the government," Tom said. "He told me that they found something that could change everything." Sarah leaned closer. "What is it?" she asked. Tom looked around to make sure no one was listening. "They found a way to control space and time," he whispered. "They can make ships disappear or stop them from moving. It's like magic, but it's real science." Sarah's eyes got big. "That's amazing," she said. "But why keep it a secret? This could help everyone in the world." Tom shook his head. "Think about it, Sarah," he said. "If the aliens found out we had this technology, they might try to take it. Or they might attack us because they're scared of what we can do." Sarah thought about this. "So the government is trying to keep the aliens away to protect this secret," she said. "But is that the right thing to do? Shouldn't we share this with everyone?" Just then, a loud noise came from outside. Sarah and Tom ran to the window. In the sky, they saw a strange light. It was getting bigger and bigger. "Oh no," Tom said. "I think the aliens are coming back, and they don't look happy." Sarah grabbed Tom's arm. "We need to do something," she said. "We can't let them attack Earth." Tom nodded. "I have an idea," he said, "but it's dangerous. We'll have to sneak into a government building." Sarah didn't hesitate. "Let's do it," she said. "We might be the only ones who can save Earth now." As they ran out of the cafe, the sky got brighter. More alien ships were appearing. People in the streets started to scream and run. Sarah and Tom jumped into Tom's car. As they drove through the busy streets, they could see the alien ships getting closer. "I hope we're not too late," Sarah said, looking up at the sky. Tom drove faster. "We won't be," he said. "Earth has a few tricks up its sleeve, and we're going to make sure we use them." As they raced towards the government building, Sarah and Tom knew that the fate of Earth might depend on what they did next. The biggest adventure of their lives was just beginning. High above Earth, the ships of the Galactic Empire appeared in the sky. They were big and shiny, like giant metal birds. The biggest ship was in the middle. It was where the Emperor was. On Earth, people looked up and felt scared. The alien ships were everywhere. In New York, London, Tokyo, and all over the world, people ran inside their homes. Inside the Emperor's ship, the alien leader looked down at Earth. He was still angry that Earth had told him to go away before. "Look at that tiny blue planet," the Emperor said. "They think they can stop us. We will show them how strong we are." The other aliens on the ship nodded. They were ready to fight. But on Earth, things were happening too. In a secret room deep under a mountain, some people were very busy. They were turning on big machines and looking at screens. One of the people there was the man in the black suit who had told the aliens to leave before. He looked worried, but also excited. "Is everything ready?" he asked. A woman sitting at a big computer nodded. "Yes, sir," she said. "We can start whenever you say." The man in the black suit took a deep breath. "Okay," he said. "Let's show these aliens what Earth can do." Back in the city, Sarah and Tom were still in Tom's car. They were trying to get to the government building, but it was hard. The streets were full of scared people running around. "Look," Sarah said, pointing up. "The alien ships are doing something." Tom looked up while he was driving. The alien ships were spreading out around Earth. It looked like they were getting ready to attack. Just then, Tom's phone rang. He answered it while driving. "Major Harris," a voice said. "This is General Johnson. We need you at headquarters right now. It's an emergency." Tom looked at Sarah. "We have to go to the military base," he said. "They need help." Sarah nodded. "Okay," she said, "but we need to tell them about the secret technology." They turned the car around and started driving to the military base. As they drove, they saw more and more people running and looking scared. Suddenly, the alien ships started to glow. It looked like they were going to fire their weapons. "Oh no," Sarah said. "They're going to attack." But then, something strange happened. Just as the alien ships were about to fire, they stopped moving. They just sat there in the sky, not doing anything. In the Emperor's ship, everyone was confused. "What's happening?" The Emperor shouted. "Why aren't our weapons working?" The other aliens ran around, pushing buttons and looking at screens. But nothing worked. "Your Highness," one alien said, "it's like our ships are frozen. We can't move or fire our weapons." The Emperor's face turned dark purple with anger. "How is this possible?" he yelled. "What are these humans doing to us?" Back on Earth, in the secret room under the mountain, the people there were smiling. It worked. The woman at the computer said, "Our new technology stopped their ships." The man in the black suit nodded. "Good," he said. "Now let's bring one of their ships down. We need to talk to them." He pushed a big red button on the wall. Outside, one of the alien ships started to move. But it wasn't the aliens moving it. Earth's secret technology was pulling the ship down to the ground. In the city, Sarah and Tom watched as the alien ship came down slowly. "I can't believe it," Tom said. "We're actually capturing an alien ship." Sarah smiled. "Earth is stronger than the aliens thought," she said. "But I hope we can still make peace with them." As the alien ship landed in a big field outside the city, Sarah and Tom knew that everything was about to change. The secret was out now. Earth had a power that even the Galactic Empire didn't understand. What would happen next? Would there be war or peace? Sarah and Tom didn't know, but they were ready to help Earth face whatever came next. Sarah and Tom finally reached the military base. Soldiers were running around everywhere. It was very busy and noisy. A tall man in a uniform came to meet them. It was General Johnson. He looked worried. "Major Harris, Dr. Chen," he said. "Follow me. We need your help." They went inside a big building. There were lots of computers and screens showing the alien ships in the sky. "What's going on, General?" Tom asked. "How did we stop the alien ships?" The general looked at them both. "It's time you knew the truth," he said. "We have a new technology. It can control space and time." Sarah's eyes got big. "I knew it," she said. "That's what I saw in my data." The general nodded. "Yes, Dr. Chen. Your work helped us find it." He pointed to a big machine in the corner. It looked like a mix of a computer and a telescope. "This is the Cronus device," the general said. "It can slow down time around the alien ships. That's why they can't move or attack." Tom whistled. "That's amazing," he said. "But why keep it a secret?" The general sighed. "Think about it," he said. "If the aliens knew we had this, they might try to steal it, or they might attack us with everything they have." Sarah frowned. "But now they know we have something powerful," she said. "What do we do?" Just then, a soldier ran in. "Sir," he said to the general, "the alien leader wants to talk to us." Everyone looked at the big screen. The face of the alien emperor appeared. He looked angry. "Humans," he shouted, "what have you done to our ships? Release us now, or face the consequences." The general stepped forward. "We will not release you," he said calmly. "We want to talk. Come down to Earth, and we can discuss this peacefully." The emperor's face turned dark purple. "Never," he shouted. "We are the Galactic Empire. We do not negotiate with primitive planets." The screen went black. The Emperor had cut off the call. "Well, that didn't go well," Tom said. The general turned to Sarah and Tom. "We need your help," he said. "Dr. Chen, you understand this technology better than anyone. And Major Harris, you know how the military works. We need you both to figure out what to do next." Sarah and Tom looked at each other. They knew this was big. The fate of Earth might depend on what they decided. "Okay," Sarah said. "Let's think about this. We have a weapon that can stop their ships, but we can't keep them frozen forever." Tom nodded. "And if we let them go, they might come back with more ships," he said. They all thought hard. Then Sarah had an idea. "What if we show them how the technology works?" she said. "If they see how powerful it is, maybe they'll want to make peace instead of fighting." The general shook his head. "That's too dangerous," he said. "They might try to steal it." But Tom was nodding. "Wait," he said. "Sarah might be right. If we show them we could shut down all their ships anytime we want, they might be too scared to fight us." They all talked about it for a long time. Finally, the general agreed. "Okay," he said. "We'll try it, but we need to be careful." Just then, another soldier ran in. "Sir," he said, "our spies in the Empire have sent a message. The Emperor is planning something big." Everyone looked worried. What was the Emperor planning? Would Earth's secret weapon be enough to stop him? Sarah looked at the Cronus device. "I hope this works," she said quietly. Tom put his hand on her shoulder. "It will," he said. "We'll make sure of it." As they started to plan how to show the aliens their technology, Sarah and Tom knew that the next few hours would decide the future of Earth. They were scared, but also excited. It was time to show the galaxy what humans could do. The sky was full of alien ships. They were everywhere, big and shiny. On the ground, people looked up with scared faces. But in the secret military base, Sarah and Tom were getting ready for something big. "Are you sure this will work?" General Johnson asked. He looked worried. Sarah nodded. "It has to," she said. She was working on the Cronus device, making it ready. Suddenly, all the screens in the room lit up. The alien emperor's face appeared. He looked very angry. "Humans," he shouted, "this is your last chance. Let our ships go, or we will destroy your cities." Tom stepped forward. "Emperor," he said calmly, "we want to show you something. Please come down to Earth. We promise you'll be safe." The Emperor laughed. "You think I would fall for such a trick?" he said. "Never." Just then, Sarah finished working on the Cronus device. She looked at General Johnson and nodded. The general took a deep breath. "Okay," he said. "Do it." Sarah pushed a big red button. Outside, something amazing happened. All the alien ships, except for the Emperor's, started to disappear. On the screen, the Emperor's eyes got very big. "What? What are you doing?" he shouted. Tom smiled. "We're not destroying your ships," he said. "We're just hiding them. They're safe in a different time bubble." The Emperor looked shocked. "That's impossible," he said. Sarah stepped forward. "It's very possible," she said, "and we can bring them back just as easily. Now will you please come down and talk?" The Emperor was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded slowly. "Very well," he said. "I will come." An hour later, a small alien ship landed outside the military base. The Emperor came out, surrounded by guards. He looked angry and a little scared. Sarah, Tom, and General Johnson went out to meet him. Soldiers stood nearby, just in case. "Welcome to Earth," General Johnson said. The Emperor looked around. "Where are my ships?" he demanded. Sarah pointed to the sky. "They're still there," she said. "Just paused in time. We can bring them back anytime." The Emperor's face turned dark purple. "How dare you?" he shouted. "The Galactic Empire will not stand for this." Tom held up his hands. "Please," he said. "We don't want to fight. We just want to talk." They all went inside the base. In a big room, they sat down at a table. The Emperor still looked angry, but he was listening. Sarah explained how the Cronus device worked. She showed how it could control time and space. The Emperor's eyes got bigger and bigger as he listened. "With this technology," Tom said, "we could freeze your whole empire in time if we wanted to. But we don't want that. We want peace." The Emperor was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Why should I believe you? Why not just take over the galaxy yourselves?" General Johnson shook his head. "That's not who we are," he said. "Humans have made many mistakes in our history. We've learned that working together is better than fighting." Sarah nodded. "We want to join the galaxy," she said, "but as equals, not as servants or enemies." The Emperor thought hard. He looked at the humans, then at his guards. Finally, he spoke. "Your technology is impressive," he said. "Perhaps we have underestimated Earth." Tom smiled. "Does this mean you're ready to talk about peace?" he asked. The Emperor nodded slowly. "Yes," he said, "but I have conditions." As they started to discuss terms, Sarah looked out the window. The sky was clear now, all the ships hidden by the Cronus device. She smiled. Earth had stood up to the Galactic Empire and won. Not with weapons, but with science and bravery. The future was still uncertain, but for the first time, humans were talking to aliens as equals. It was the start of a new age for Earth and the whole galaxy. 1 year had passed since the day the Galactic Empire tried to attack Earth. The world had changed a lot since then. Today was a very special day. Sarah and Tom stood on a big stage in New York. Behind them was a new shiny building. It was very tall and had a strange shape, like nothing on Earth. This was the new Galactic Council building. "I can't believe this is really happening," Sarah said, looking at the crowd in front of them. There were humans and aliens of all kinds standing together. Tom smiled. "We did it, Sarah," he said. "We changed the whole galaxy." Just then, the alien emperor walked onto the stage. He didn't look angry anymore. He was smiling, which looked funny on his purple face. "People of Earth and the galaxy," the emperor said in a loud voice, "today we start a new chapter in our history." Everyone cheered, both humans and aliens. Sarah saw some humans hugging aliens, which made her happy. The emperor continued talking. "1 year ago, Earth showed us something amazing. They'd proved that a small planet can be very strong. They also showed us that peace is better than war." Tom nodded. He remembered the long talks they had with the emperor. It wasn't easy, but in the end, everyone agreed that working together was best. "Today," the emperor said, "we open the new Galactic Council. Here, all planets will have a voice. Earth will share its time technology, and we will share our space travel technology." Sarah stepped forward. "We're excited to learn from each other," she said. "Earth is ready to join the galaxy as a full member." The crowd cheered again. Cameras flashed as Sarah and the emperor shook hands. It was a historic moment. After the ceremony, Sarah and Tom walked through the new building. Aliens and humans were everywhere, talking and working together. "Remember when we were scared of aliens?" Tom asked, laughing. Sarah nodded. "And now look at us. We're going to be galaxy ambassadors." They went to their new office. It had a big window that looked out into space. Earth was beautiful and blue below them. "Our first job is to visit the planet Zexar," Tom said, looking at a paper on his desk. Sarah's eyes got big. The Emperor's home planet. Wow! Just then, there was a knock on the door. A young alien came in. He looked nervous. "Excuse me," he said. "I'm Zork. I'm going to be working with you." Sarah and Tom smiled. "Welcome, Zork," they said together. As they talked to Zork, Sarah thought about how much had changed. A year ago, Earth didn't even know aliens existed. Now, They were working together to make the galaxy a better place. Later that night, Sarah stood by the big window, looking at the stars. Tom came and stood next to her. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. Sarah smiled. "I'm thinking about all the amazing things out there," she said. "All the planets we'll visit, the aliens we'll meet." Tom nodded. "It's exciting," he said, "but also a big responsibility." "True," Sarah said, "but I think Earth is ready. We've learned a lot." They watched as a big ship took off, heading for the stars. It was carrying humans and aliens, all going on adventures together. "You know what?" Tom said. "I think the best part of this whole story is that we didn't win by fighting. We won by being smart and brave." Sarah nodded. "And by being willing to talk and make friends," she added. As they watched the ship disappear into the night sky, Sarah and Tom felt proud. Earth had faced its biggest challenge and came out stronger. Now, a whole new adventure was just beginning. The galaxy was a big place, full of amazing things and some dangers too. But Earth was ready. With their new friends and their amazing technology, humans were starting a new chapter in their history, and it was going to be an exciting one.